Hello and welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today I'm building something that I used to live in. I studied abroad in England and I lived in student housing there. So I was only there for one semester, and I was lucky enough that the university had it as a rule that if you were a foreign exchange student, you would be able to live in university housing if you wanted to, and I took advantage of that, so I used it. And yeah, now I'm building the building that I used to live in, and I lived on the second floor, so in the middle one, on the left portion that you can see right now. um, yeah, and I already did the floor plan because otherwise it would be too long. And now I'm, well, furnishing the room that I used to live in when I was there for just a few months. And yeah, the room was quite big. I was actually really surprised when I got there how big it was. And I had a lot of furniture that I honestly didn't even need because I was only there for a few months and I couldn't bring like everything that I owned there. I just had a large suitcase and a small one, so a carry-on and a large suitcase, um, and that was all that I brought there. The rest I needed to buy. Yeah, and I never filled every shelf that I had in that room. And the room also had quite high ceilings, so it was really, it just felt really large, the room, which I wasn't bothered about. So I liked that it was large, but I was surprised that it was actually that large because I um, lived in student housing during my studies um, at my regular university as well, and the rooms weren't as large as they were um, in in my university semester abroad. And yeah, now I the rooms were decorated the same, or furnished the same, so we all had the same beds and so on. So yeah, there wasn't actually all that much to to yeah choose. So that's why all the bedrooms look the same, and I cut that out of the build video because it would have just taken too long, and it's not really that interesting, just me seeing me copy everything that I already did in my room. Um, yeah, and we were four people living in that floor in one flat, and in the upstairs flat, the um, other students lived. So also four people, and we were all foreign exchange students, and we were only there for a few months each. And downstairs um, in the first floor, on the first floor, there was housing for university faculty. So they, if they moved here, they were able to, yeah, have that flat downstairs or an apartment downstairs, just so they could find permanent residents um, easier and didn't have to worry when they moved. At least that's how the woman that we met once explained it to us. And of course we didn't mind. It was a little bit weird to know that there was faculty in the same building there as you, but I didn't think it was all that weird. So yeah, it was fine. And I we only met them once. We never saw them, but we did actually make we went to some yeah, some things together with the upstairs flat. So all eight of us, we went and celebrated some of our well, the holidays from our home countries. So we celebrated the Moon Festival from China, and yeah, so it was really cool to do some things together with the other people that were living in the flat above us and in my flat as well. And yeah, I really enjoyed my semester abroad. Um, I think it's really cool to be able to do that. At the moment, you can see that I finished with the essential furniture, and now I'm painting the walls everywhere. And um, the walls were really like beige, and it was quite boring. Um, and yeah, I if I would have lived there longer, I would have definitely put in a lot more furniture and stuff. But because I only lived there for a few months, we weren't like none of us was really able to change too much of the room. So I had just one painting that I painted in the first week of university. Um, there was like a introduction week, and there were really a lot of activities that you can do I could do, and one of them was painting, and I did that, and that was the only like decoration that I had in my room, because it just wasn't like feasible or really all that useful to decorate for just a few months. So that's why it's actually quite boring in the rooms. But I thought I just leave it that like that, because I think it's realistic to have like really standard furniture in the different rooms. And yeah, I think because it's only base game, so everyone can download it if they want to. I think it would be a really cool thing to just for you to download and decorate to your heart's content. So imagine you or your sim, you move to a foreign country to live there for a few months as an exchange student, and now you can decorate. And yeah, you can. Yeah, I'm happy for you to download the build and decorate however you want. Your room, of course, only. Not all the rooms, because, well, you only have one room for yourself. But I think that would be really fun. I would love to see that if other people did that. And maybe I will decorate my room how I would have decorated it if I had more time in that house. But I am not sure yet. So, yeah, don't want to promise anything that I may not do. But yeah, that I think that's really cool, and yeah, I think it's realistic just to have like real, um, no real decorations when you move somewhere, especially in student housing. It's just realistic, like every student housing that I was, all the other ones as well, were like that. You just had the furniture that was provided, so a desk and a bed and shelving and stuff, and a dresser, of course. But there was no real decoration anywhere. So yeah, that's the norm, I think, and I think it's quite realistic to have it like that. Yeah, and now you can see how I decorated downstairs. I made it two flats. There were two flats downstairs where I lived, so it is realistic. And yeah, I just did that like that. I kept it plain as well because it was also just temporary housing downstairs, so I think it's quite realistic to have it like that. Like that plain as well. So yeah, I kept it like that. And at the moment, there was like back in the back of the lot, essentially, there was like a house for the caretaker, I think, and like a small what's it called, like office for the caretaker. At least I think that was what it was. I'm not actually sure, but I put furniture in there to indicate that. So yeah, I remember there was some building there, and I had space on the lot, and I didn't want to do a garden because we didn't have a garden. So yeah, I decided um, to make it like a building for the caretaker. And of course, there's also a toilet and sink there, and like a little office for 2 people I put there in there, and a woodworking table for anything that he or she, I'm not sure who the caretaker was actually. When I arrived, I needed to go to a different building. I was also student housing to get my key because I got there so late. I got there, I think, 9 o'clock in the evening or even a little bit later. So the caretaker of my building wasn't responsible for getting me the key either, and I never met him or her, so I don't actually know who took care of everything in the house. We didn't have any problems, except for one time, but that wasn't a caretaker that went there, but another person, and because we had problems with the heating once, and in England you need heating because it's cold otherwise. So yeah, that was important. And now I'm just making the lot a little bit brighter with some greens. Now you can see some screenshots of the build. As I already said, you can download it from my gallery and decorate your room, essentially. Yeah, and I also hope that you liked the video and will consider pressing that thumbs up button and subscribing. I also hope that you have a great week. Bye!